Hey, this is Bill Vernon, your Keller Williams agent for the Central Texas area. I'm the rainmaker for the I-35 group of Keller Williams Lone Star. We're really, people go, hey, what areas do you serve? And we serve everywhere from south of Hillsboro to, north of Gerald, and as far east as Mahia, Marlin, Cameron, to as far west as Lampasas. So that's kind of our stomping grounds in where we are at. And one of the things that I was thinking about the other day is at the beginning of the year, I gave you guys a mini book review in the books that I read and shared with you. And I said, hey man, we're here in the middle of July. How about I talk about some of the books I've read? And one of them, I'm currently in the middle of reading, but it's so cool, I wanted to get that in front of you right now. Now, You Revealed is a Torah path of life of success, and this is by a rabbi, Horowitz, and where I got this is I was listening to a podcast about taking care of your money. And he was on there and he mentioned that he wrote this book, and he was so powerful in that podcast that I said, oh, hey, I'll go ahead and start. So I'm starting to read this book. I'm about a third way through it. I'm telling you already right now, it's just a phenomenal book. First off, being a Christian, I'm always interested in Jewish perspectives of the Old Testament and of the Bible. And so I'm learning a lot of Hebrew and Yiddish and a lot about Orthodox Jewish thought through this book. And it's just a wonderful book. Even if you're not a believer, I think if you open it and really looked at it, it'll get you thinking about, guess who? You. And it will reveal stuff about you. So this is a cool book. I haven't finished reading it yet, but I'm telling you right now, it's a phenomenal book. You need to tackle it. Hey, Steve Schleder's book. This is a great book if you're in sales or you're in business. Steve Schleder is known through KW, and my KW buddies that are watching, we all know or have heard about Steve Schleder. Just a little side note, Steve is kind of my boss. And so, yes, Brown Nose is my boss here. But I'm going to tell you right now, it's a phenomenal book. He tells you how to build your lead gen through story. And so this is a great book, Rescue Dogs in Real Estate by Steve Schleder. So you definitely want to grab this if you're in any sort of business in which you need to really concentrate on your lead generation and step that up. So I would definitely do that. Okay, here's one rental at a time. The reason I got into this is, again, if you know, you're on my YouTube channel right now. This guy does it at a high level, so I started watching him mainly to watch it, and he's in real estate, so the subject matter would keep me engaged. And so I was just stealing the way he does his YouTube stuff. I'm still learning a lot from his YouTube, but he talked about his book, so I said, well, I better read his book. I'm interested enough. It is a great book. In fact, my wife read this book. We both got a lot out of it, and I would encourage you, if you're beginning in wanting to know about real estate investing, not the flipping part, more the owning a rental properties. This is a good beginning book. Again, it tells a story, and then he adds a lot of stuff to it. So for beginning people that are involved in rentals, this is a great book to read. And again, Michael Zuber is his name, One Rental at a Time. And again, you can go watch his video. He posts usually 2 or 3 videos a day on YouTube. So that's that book. I enjoyed reading it. Let's keep going. I want to go to these books. I'll leave the other one last here. This one I also have. The Psychology of Wealth by Charles Richardson. Like this book, if you're a John Maxwell guy, which if you see over here, this little corner over here where Pudge is at and stuff, that little corner right there is my John Maxwell collection. And over here, I got some John Maxwell autograph books. I've gone to several, John has told me he's my friend. So I've met John Maxwell. If you've read John Maxwell books, you've read this book. And why I say that is it's written very similar. The stories are very good. The philosophy behind it. So I have read this book before. I love the stories that he did have in there. Did he understand the talk through? He talks about debt throughout. I would kind of go back and forth on his philosophy about debt. But I would encourage you, if you're not into John Maxwell and you're going, who's John Maxwell? Well, first off, you need to find out who he is. And you need to read this book. So, you know, it's pretty good. And what's kind of interesting, it was written before Donald Trump was president. And there's some Donald Trump stories in here. And I'm always kind of curious. I don't know, maybe I should send him an email. What he thinks about Donald Trump now versus what was said in his book. Be interesting to see how he feels about that. So great book. Would encourage you that if you're not a John Maxwell, but you're kind of like, hey, how do I get my life kind of straight financially? That's a good book. Okay, 12-week year, really pushing this. I am a disciple right now, and not an apostle. We'll just kind of use the biblical concepts there. I'm a disciple. Been talking to people that have used their coaching program, have not heard anything negative. Hey, in the comments, if you used any of these people as your coaches, I would encourage this 12-week year, especially in real estate. And I'm going to tell you, any kind of organizational. Maybe you're a missionary at a church, or I'm just thinking you're running a nonprofit like a football. Oh, that's what we're sitting there. My wife and I were sitting down, and we were thinking about and reading the stuff about the Aces football team this year, and some of the stuff that's going on there. And what I found interesting, you know what, 12-week year, this would be good for that organization, right? So 12-week year, what they're basically doing is instead of thinking a year as 12 months, you're thinking of it as 12 weeks, aka a quarter. Now some are going to go, Bill, there's 13 weeks in a quarter. Okay, you know what you're supposed to do with your 13th week? Well, if you've done your 12, you get to take your 13th off. Okay, so I mean, there's just great concepts about how we need to concentrate on each quarter instead of a year, because a year is far out. Gary Keller has a great saying. We're real good about not doing. How does he say it exactly? I'm about to butcher his saying. You know, we think great about a year, but we don't think great about 5 years. These people are doing it in reverse. They're thinking great about a quarter versus thinking about the year and concentrating on that, blowing up that quarter. So love this. And Bill, like I said, is thinking, and we're kind of instituting and not doing too good this year to what I would like us to be on my team of using this. That's why I'm thinking I need to get it in the coaching so that we're get our hand held a little bit better. But I really think this would impact you. We are at my team during this trying time. Really, when we focus on stuff like this, really brings out a lot in my team. So I would encourage you to read this book, start putting it into action. And if you're like me, you know, come talk to me in about 3 years, and I'll be a master of this. Let's go to this book. Speaking of being a master, I'm not just yourself, as some of these other books, like You Revealed, helps you. But I love this book. It's called The Road Less Stupid. Keith Cunningham, Avoiding Dumb Mistakes That Sabotage Growth, Profits, and Business Success. Advice from the chairman of the board. I love that. He calls himself the chairman of the board. And I love that the title should tell you a lot too. You know, the road less stupid. And kind of his thing. This is a book that I will be reading until God calls me away or Doomsday shows up. One or the other. I will constantly be reading. Guys, I as a general rule, don't mark in books and whatnot. But you're gonna, if you kind of flip through these pages, you're gonna see me highlighting stuff and marking through stuff. Here I got notes. You just see different little. I will reread this book. This will be very much like Gary Keller's book, The Millionaire Real Estate Agent. The MREA, and some of us call it the Red Book. It's one of those books that I constantly pull out, reread, and mark, and doing book clubs. And in the back shows you a concept here, the discipline of thinking time. What he does is he talks about different concepts of business, and let's just pull this out: the bathrobe theory of business, when a good idea isn't. And so he'll talk about it. He even he has it laid out in a very interesting way. He has like what he calls get to the point parts of this. He calls it here it is. Here it is on a bumper sticker. In other words, if you don't want to read the whole chapter, you just read this little part right here, and it gets you the thesis of this chapter. Then the next thing he does, your thinking time, and he gives you questions to ask yourself about this issue for you to think about it. So the premise of the book is that you're to read one of these chapters, spend time every day. I love John Maxwell is pull out your 5 things. One of your 5 things might be is doing what he's saying, sitting down with your thinking time. If you're like, well, what am I going to think about, Bill? Because you might not be as bright as I am. You sit down with your thinking time and you answer these questions. I did these. Where am I making some of the same mistakes again? I kind of have that underlined over here. Yeah. So during your thinking time. So this book right here, you read the chapters, you better have you a journal, you better have you a pen. I've given this to people, handing them this book, a journal, and a pen, and say, go after it. So I love that we've closed on this book, because I'm giving you a series of books. One of them is about, the first one I was talking about is fixing you, kind of thinking about fixing you. And then here is talking about fixing your business and your world. And so we're going to end with that book. And I hope I gave you some great books. Hey, I'd love to hear what books you've been reading. I want you to hit the comments. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. You can reach out to me at 254-495-5661, or you can email me at bill@I35group. And I'd love to talk to you about, not just about real estate, and not just about business, but in life in general. Whatever you have, reach out to me. Here's something else. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Hit that little bell thing and you'll get updates when stuff like this comes out. Or, click the like button down there too, so that I'll show up on your feed on YouTube. Hey, I love talking to you about this. I can't wait. I'm reading a bunch of other books. In fact, you can't see it. Here's some books I'm going to have to be talking to you about. We got Sam Zell. Oh, that's a cool one. The Psychology of Money. We can't. Baby Steps by Dave Ramsey. A lot of you know I'm a Dave. So these are going to be some books we're going to be talking about later, probably in December, right? I'll have a bunch of other books. I just couldn't think of it. I'm going to be finished that other You Revealed book, and I can't wait to share those with you. We'll talk soon now.